What is up, everybody? Welcome back. We have another worst to best movie ranks. We have Denis Villeneuve. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. And man, has this gentleman had a run of a lifetime of just top tier, top quality movies over and over and over again. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that in his top 10, we have movies like Prisoners, Enemies, Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, Dunes. Like, the guy is just making the highest quality movies that could be made right now. And I am so excited to dig into this top 10 because I think that it's going to be really, really difficult again. Um, the man can't miss. I don't know if he has. There's a couple here that like are obviously lower caliber than the others, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad. So I think we can start off with the bottom two. I assume everyone would probably be in agreement here. It's probably going to be his, I think this is his first film, which is Maelstrom. Um, it was done in, looks like I have a list pulled up here. That was done in 2000. And then Polytechnique, which really tough movie to watch about. I think that was the murder one, right? Good, but just I feel like they're just a little overshadowed with the rest of the list here. Um, Now this is where it gets interesting, right? This is where it gets really, really, really interesting with how we look at these movies because I I think his last five films that he's done are easily 8.5 out of 10 and higher, maybe even the nines. The Dunes were great. Blade Runner 2049 is a fucking masterpiece. Arrival is chef's kiss. Sicario is so good. Enemy, really good. Prisoners, really good. And then Ascendis, I don't know if I pronounced that right. Incendies. I I kind of remember that movie, kind of don't. Is that one the family history? Is that a French one? Yeah.
Tu viens d'apprendre.
Yeah, that's a French movie. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking that was the French one, but I couldn't remember. Still very good. So, here's how we're going to do this list. Because usually I'm pretty long and drawn out here trying to figure things out, but I think I'm pretty actually set on how I want to do this. So, we're going to put Enemy at number 8. We're going to put Ascendies at number 7, and we're going to put Prisoners, which arguably could be number 1 depending on who you talk to, but for me it's not. We're going to put Prisoners at number 6. And that leaves Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. Now is when we're going to draw out of this out a little bit because this gets really hard. So, talking about the Dune movies, they're still fresh in our minds. Timothy Chalamet is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. I'm a fan. I personally think it's well deserved, but that's not our that's not what we're talking about today. Obviously, with Dune 1, we're building out the story. We're seeing the amazing beauty that he's able to create on film. But it is a little slow and it's building up to the plot. We don't even see any of the crazy shit until Dune Part 2. And then Dune Part 2 is just, I, wow. Blade Runner 2049, obviously a sequel to Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. I fucking love this movie so much. It's so high quality. It's such good sci-fi. Arrival. I mean, as an alien enthusiast and junkie, this movie is just beautiful. I mean, it covers so much about human nature, and then also like what would happen in a crazy situation like that where they come to try and communicate. And then Sicario is just a straight up goddamn left turn every 10 seconds, I swear. And it's just not fun for anybody. But a great movie. I already know kind of where my head's at with this list. So let's make a couple moves here. Dune Part 1 is going to come in at number 5. Sicario is going to come in at number 4. That's just personal opinion. So then that leaves us with Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, and Dune Part 2. And this is a really hard top 3 for me. Um, I'm not looking at any lists. I don't care, like any ranking lists. I don't care about outside opinions on this one because I already know that Prisoners is probably going to piss people off. I'm sure enemy people maybe not, I don't know, because it's like, how do you compare these movies? Prisoners, I could see the argument for being in any of these numbers from 6 and up, right? I feel like everyone probably has these at the bottom 4 just in a different order. Maybe not this one. I only saw it once and it was, I was reading it, so I just didn't really get everything out of it. It was still a good movie though. Anyways, so top 3: Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, and Dune Part 2. I've seen all of these at least twice. I th- I think we're gonna put Arrival at 3, and then it leaves the two most like just beautifully crafted movies. Visually, they're just so stunning. I mean, that whole scene, the black and white fireworks, and oh, it's just so fucking cool. Mm. I'm just thinking like which one really sits with me because I don't want to have recency bias with Blade Runner, or excuse me, with Dune Part 2. I saw it in the theaters less than a year ago. I just rewatched it on whatever platform it's on, Max or whatever, 3 months ago, 2 months ago, maybe. And it's so good. It's so good. It captures so much. But there's still, and this shouldn't be a knock against like the director, Denis, but some of the writing in Dune is really difficult. And I think he even said that like he's gonna work on the third movie, like a third movie that's gonna cover the second book. And then he said he's done because if you aren't familiar with Dune or the books, like it gets off the fucking rails for weird shit. Like obviously sandworms and all that stuff is pretty crazy, and all of the Bene Gesserits and everything is really hard to follow. But like visually representing that in a movie, like you can still do it pretty well. But like at some point, I think uh, Paul Atreides has a kid that's like a half worm kid, and he's like super crazy powerful or something like that, and it gets really, really, really weird. Um, and that's my one problem with Dune as a series and a book series is like it's really hard to read because there's just so much info dump. And then like even in this one, there's still even the movies. There's still some difficulties understanding like what happened when Paul had the worm juice. Um, like obviously it made him more powerful and could do a whole bunch of different things, but like it's so hard to follow. And then I felt like you just it's just impossible to explain it without spending like an hour in a movie to explain just that part, and you can't, right? But I felt like it got the point across pretty much. But they don't even like dig into the Bene Gesserits a whole lot, so you just assume that they're a global power, but or a galaxy. I don't know. But with Blade Runner, it's not that hard to explain. That's kind of where my point was going. Is like you can watch Blade Runner 2049 all the way through, and you're not left going like, okay, I think I understand everything. You just kind of do. And they got Harrison Ford back, which was cool as fuck. I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you guys. You could, in my opinion, you could coin flip these movies and have it be one and two. Um, I'm gonna put Blade Runner, or excuse me, Dune at two, and I'm gonna put Blade Runner at one, just for me. Um, I'll probably rewatch all these movies again in my life, and maybe my opinion would change. But where it stands for Denis Villeneuve, top 10, Maelstrom, Polytechnique, Enemy, Insidies. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Incendies, Prisoners, Dune Part 1, Sicario, Arrival, Dune Part 2, Blade Runner 2049. That's my list. Let's look at the community rank and see if there's no community rank. Okay, cool. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree or disagree with me, I really appreciate it. Drop a sub if you're enjoying this. I love making tier lists. If you have ideas for me, let me know. And please, please, please tell me, just give me your top, how you would order these in the comments below. Would you do it completely different? Are you pretty close to me? What do you think? Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.